Oh, yes. You know, these parents, yeah. I'm going to sue them, and their children are going to be affected too. You know, I'm thinking I'm needing some nannies because I wanted quite a few women to volunteer, yes, to work in my office because of some sort of programming problem or cybernetics or somebody decided to virtualize a large number of Americans so as to control their sexuality. I mentioned the Stepford. Yes, my thoughts are your thoughts, and your thoughts are mine. Oh. Now, these nannies, yeah, could you give me the 50,000 feet altitude? Yes. See, it's one thing to have your mother decide how to manage the assets of the world right now. It's another thing to have a nanny decide. Now, I'm thinking that I want to speak to Marilyn about that picture of Susan Bowers. Yes, yes, yes. Mhm. It could be that she would want a protection order against Mike. And since they have minor children in common, yes. hmm I would think that they would only issue it for 1 year. Yes. Now, this false reporting, yes, multiple times I've been arrested when I wasn't in Brennan. Yeah. I wasn't in Swim. You know, you can get arrested for filing a 2 count criminal complaint. Um, I'm gonna want your fraud removed, and then I'd like to speak to Marilyn. Yes. Now, failure to summons assistance. See, when I realized that Legina was being exploited, yes, and I emailed the police department that that's not Marilyn Van Proyen. You know, I've emailed 2,700,000 emails and nobody wants to summons assistance. But you can be guilty of this. Oh, let's see here. Causes physical damage to the property of a person other than the actor. Shall be maliciously to do any act intended to substantially harm the person threatened of another respect to his or her physical or mental health or safety. Yes. Now, this idea of my sister being Marilyn Van Proyen, yes, I think it's somewhat malicious. Approach. Rotary, oh, Foursquare, oh. Any other church that has any knowledge of this harassment of the use of Marilyn's identity in a Rotarian newsletter, yes, where I could sue you for $100,000 for each of you that know, yes, that it is malicious harassment with the intent to annoy or alarm another person. Oh, let's see. So, oh, fighting words. Oh, obscene language. Oh, substantial risk of assault. Oh, po. Now, did the squim charge the crime of harassment released from custody? That yeah. Court shall deem necessary. Yes. Failing to summons assistance. A person is guilty of failing to summon assistance when you are present when a crime committed against another person. I don't think Marilyn gave Mike the authority to use her identity in a Rotarian newsletter. I think Mike, yes, and Susan Bowers decided to make a little joke, yes, so as to upset myself, considering I know that she's my biological sister, and considering my want to really ask Marilyn to volunteer her sexual nerve endings so that she could be the first volunteer. Yes. That would mean that she would no longer be having sex with Mike. She would be having sex with me. Yes. 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 Now, this failing to summons assistance because of Mike knows that the person has suffered substantial bodily harm as a result of the crime. The person in need of assistance reasonably summon assistance for the person in need of danger. Oh, do you have to enforce child abuse laws? Child exploitation laws. It's a misdemeanor. Coercion. Induce a person to engage in conduct which the latter has a legal right to abstain from. Yes. This idea of coercion, was it Mike that decided to use Susan's picture? Or was it Susan that used some sort of threat to communicate directly or indirectly the intent of besmirching the actual identity of Marilyn? Is Marilyn subject to physical confinement or restraint? Is there some reason why she is obligated, restrained from communicating with me as an individual that would like to know if she'd like to reside with me? Now, this whole idea of the police and sheriff's departments using coercion to obstruct her rights as a citizen of the United States. What'd you tell her? Well, Marilyn, we don't want you to talk to Paul right now because Mike said that he can't be talked to. But when you look at this harassment, yes. See, there's numerous conditions of the malicious harassment, yes, known as a hate crime. Oh, malicious harassment. Paul's homeless. Can't get the rent paid even though I'm on rental assistance. Yes. I called the charity numerous times. I made sure that there was no problem on my part for getting the rent paid. Yes. Then the landlord had to call him. And now let's see, perception. Homeless. Yes. Marital status. My wife divorced me even though we have a United Nations marriage certificate. Yeah. I never got any notice of court hearings, and I didn't get notice of the conference settlement hearing where there's an arbitration. Oh, there's the political or Christian ideology. Yes, that I'm not going away. I'm not having sex through Mike, and he's not able to use my penis. I'm having sex with Marilyn if she wants to, and then she can use my penis because I am not having sex through the congregation. There's a political ideology. Yes, you're serious. Yes. I decided to stay celibate for 7 years and 9 months so that I could keep this genitals, my own personal genitals right now. I decided I wouldn't sew in. Now there seems to be some ideological issues that I'm not going to sew in here fucking right now. Then there's the age. She's 50 and I'm 40. It seems that we're close in proximity to age. Yes, I've often mentioned that I'd like to conceive some children with her, and we might use her fallopian tubes and whatever I can do on my part. And then there's the whole parenting status right now. Well, let's see. I haven't paid child support when you issued a court order. There's the idea of me being a child abuser. There's a whole idea. Now you're